welcome in everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. Happy Tuesday, everybody. How's it going?
Not too bad. Things are going crazy. As you can see, it looks really dark in here. It's because, again, the sun is not out. I guess we just don't have sun around here anymore.
Yeah. Hey, it's okay to turn a light on every now and then, Pags. I know you got some lights in that place.
I do have some lights. The problem is that it makes makes the back look funny. But that's all right. It's okay. You guys can see me just fine.
Yep. Well, and it's funny. We finally have sun, right? We got some nice weather. I got to work the rugby game Friday, and like an hour before game time, it's supposed to start raining. I'm like, really? I got to stay. We're gonna have a nice week, and then I'm gonna have to stand in the rain anyway.
Awesome, ain't it great?
The best.
Hey, listen, I'm not even seeing rain until like next week. I mean, it's like a damn desert out here right now in Houston.
Well, that's because a lot of it is a desert.
Well, until it rains, and then it rains and it floods. It's like you have the next coming of Noah and everything, because it's.
Hey, listen, after what we went through this time last year, oh, good Lord, Pags, I don't know if I can go through another one of those.
Well, I remember. So.
Oh, that was so rough, man. I didn't get it as bad as other people got it. Some of them people that I know that live in this area, in our subdivision, whatever you want to call this, they got like serious erosion, like 60, 70K in erosion. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So I guess I should be thankful I didn't get that bad.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, that is freaking rough.
Yeah, I can understand that. But I remember last year, it's like I said, you were floating away a lot of the time.
It was pretty bad. I caught my wife kayaking down the creek, literally. Like I don't know how she made a makeshift kayak, but the woman made a makeshift kayak. She's from West Virginia, so there's that.
Well, at least you guys aren't growing ginseng on your roof.
Hey, listen, I'm telling you. Hey, I'm telling you, Bubba.
I know all about it. I know all about it. Those people in West Virginia are a whole different breed.
You know, the thing about it is ginseng. I didn't realize how crazy ginseng is. Ginseng, because they're in the mountains where she lives, they got fields of ginseng, and then people would go in there on their property and steal the ginseng. Which is not a big, it's not a big deal if you cut it and take some of it. That's fine because it'll grow back. But they were uprooting the whole damn plant.
Yes, because it's a big deal there. I mean, so interestingly enough, I mean, if you I watched some documentaries on this stuff and whatever. Like some of the best ginseng in the world grows in West Virginia, and like just something about the way that the soil is and the way that the way everything is makes it perfect for growing ginseng. Right. And realistically, a lot of times it's grown on the roof of these people's houses. Like they actually set it up to grow it on the house because of what you're talking about, that they will uproot the entire plant because the biggest purchaser of ginseng in the world is a country that's got 1 billion people.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like big money. There's a few things in West Virginia that they do that they don't like anybody else doing. One is growing ginseng. The other one is making alcohol.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Start wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got them. What do you call that? They call them canning cellars out there in the mountains, and that's where they put all that alcohol stuff is in those canning cellars. But I mean, they had like acres of ginseng, and people would just come in and start stealing it. And I don't think they ever had an issue with people coming in and taking some ginseng. It was just like, why do you got to take the whole damn plant? Like at least some of it. Shit.
Well, like I said, they're taking it up so it doesn't grow anymore. You know what I mean? So, and it sucks, but and if they're stealing the plant to put it on their property and have it grow over there, once it's put back into the ground again, you don't know. Oh, you stole my plant. That plant was exactly my plant. See my initials on the plant? Doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even know what a hollow was until I met her, and then she explained to me what a hollow was. And I'm like, what the hell's a damn hollow? Apparently it's a valley or some kind of valley thing. It's weird. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's enough about my educational life, I guess.
So
Uh,
I have to kind of start with this one just because this kind of struck me as odd and it makes me wonder. Like, first off, shut your mouth. This is what I want to say. But Travis Hunter,
okay.
I'd rather quit football than play only one position.
Yeah, shut up.
Right?
I
Right?
mean,
Listen, they gave you really, I feel like, I mean, he was the what you call it, right? The Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah,
yeah.
I,
he
I
was.
mean, I feel like that he really was. Yeah, I mean, he should have been in the conversation, but probably should not have won that. That they gave it to him. Not sure why they gave it to him, but they gave it to him. Somebody's like,
I think it's because he won both the wide receiver award and the defensive player award. You know what I'm saying? And both sides of it, he was top notch, right? So I think that's why they gave it to him, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is whoever drafts him, he's not going to be locked into one side of the ball anyway, right?
No.
Like they're probably going to draft him as a DB because there's just not enough of them. And then they're going to put in special packages for him on offense, no matter where he goes, right? Like they're going to use him in some sort of gadgety stuff, no matter what. And then once he gets hurt, then they're going to be like, yeah, you're a DB.
They're gonna run him just like the Cowboys used Dion. That's exactly how they used Dion. Dion was a cornerback, but they had packages on the wide receiving side, and that's exactly what they did.
yeah, but you know what? I don't not seeing many things from Travis Hunter. Like, I've not watched him play very much.
Yeah.
Dion was. Oh, there was only one Dion. There was a reason for that. There was a reason for that. And the other thing about Dion was that he ran very crisp routes.
Yes.
But it was only those routes. He wasn't very good. Like, you didn't give him 7 different or 8 different routes to run. He had like 2 or 3 routes that he ran, and he ran those routes perfect. So, but that's it. So it wasn't like anything crazy like that. But like I said, there was only one Dion.
Yeah.
I think the only other guy that had any bit was it not Torrey Holt, like that when Patriots used one of their wide receivers as a cornerback and started to put him. I know they wound up winning the Super Bowl on that, or maybe they lost to the Giants that year. But I know that they needed to switch one of their wide receivers to cornerback, and he played on both sides of the ball.
Huh.
I guess I don't remember that.
And that was only one season because they were
Yeah.
hurt on cornerback tremendously.
Well, and if you're Hunter, even though he plays DB better, do you want to come out as a receiver? Because they get paid better.
That's the other purpose of this. It's like it becomes the matter of the money. So, and don't think you're going to be. See, this is a little bit of the Ohtani effect. You need to pay me as both.
Yeah.
You ain't both. And you ain't going to be able to play both.
You won't survive a season as both.
Right. At least not the first season. You might be able
Well, he was already hurt in college doing both for a little while.
It was kind of a dirty hit, let's be real. But
yeah,
he got blasted on a dirty hit. But and who knows? Maybe he will get announced as a wide receiver or DB. But yeah, I mean, like if you're him, you probably want to be on the offensive side. He's a better defensive back than he is a receiver, though.
Right.
Like DB, you're like, okay, this guy's going to be a starter in the NFL. As a receiver, you're like, yeah, I mean, he's probably a number 2, realistically. So, I mean, it depends on where you're going, but I would imagine just about everybody's going to want to draft him as a defensive back.
And I guess I'd have to say, I mean, being a cornerback, it's likely. So I feel like that it's about 70% of whatever your counterpart makes. So, for instance, an offensive lineman is making a certain amount of money. The defensive counterpart makes 70% of that. That's usually how I, envision it in my head. It could be somewhere closer to that, and then of course, how great you are is how much money you get paid. So cornerback falls into that same category. And now with wide receivers getting upwards in essence of, now like $40 million a year in certain circumstances. I mean, cornerbacks are going to start making some money.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
You're going to start seeing cornerbacks at like $32 million a year.
Yeah. Well, and he may even get a contract that looks like something, right? Like he may end up with that Taysom Hill $100 million contract that 90% of it he's not going to achieve, right? Because he's just not going to take enough quarterback snaps and stuff like that, right? So when the contract came out, you're like, man, that's impressive for, what it is he does. And then when you look at what he was actually going to make out of it, you're like, oh, okay. I mean, he didn't actually get any money. So I would imagine that's going to be something very similar here for Hunter, is he's going to get a defensive back contract that has incentives on the receiving side that he's probably never going to actually get.
Yeah, I just think playing both sides of the ball, and Bo, you're a football guy. You played the game. You know what I'm talking about. For the long-term sustainability of your body, that's just too much. It's too much to try to sustain over long. I mean, look at everybody that does the two-way stuff. Look at Ohtani. Ohtani, now he's running into issues with his arm, things like that. I mean, if I'm a team, I'm like, look, man, I'm paying you to play one position because I need you to be on the field. And if it's going to be DB, it's going to be DB. If it's going to be wide receiver, whatever. Maybe I could throw you the package or two every now and again, but don't think you're going to be this every day or every down guy because your body can't. You're not
going to play 140 snaps a game. You're just not going to.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you won't survive a season, let alone have any length of career. There's just too many hits. But do I think that he gets used? Sure. Yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you? Right. Especially if you went somewhere where you needed a DB and he can be your fourth receiver. Yeah. Then,
right.
I mean, whatever defense you're going against is in some trouble. But if you need him to play both sides every down, I mean, he's not going to be available, and your team is hot trash anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I can even see him like if the team that he's on was to make it to the playoffs, and they wanted to throw a wrinkle at the defense, if there's like a fourth or third and 4 or whatever it is, put him out there, stuff like that, special things. I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, it's why you saw guys like Vrabel or Watt or whatever randomly get used in the offense, especially like red zone opportunities, stuff like that, right? I mean, it's not like it's unheard of. So for him to have packages absolutely makes sense. But, when you look at his tape, he plays the defensive side of the ball better. So yeah. if I'm a GM drafting him, I would draft him that way. And if I'm the GM, I'm looking at it as I get to save about $10 million a year when his contract's up.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Oh,
why, Mike? Drafting him, what is a DB?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And maybe put incentives in there. Hey, if we do play X snaps, that's just an incentive you can get into your contract.
But not in the rookie contract, right?
No, the rookie contract's the rookie contract.
Right.
Yeah. So here's the other thing that I wanted to talk about. So 17 players have accepted invitations to go to Green Bay. Now, Shedeur Sanders is not one of them, which was a surprise, but nothing crazy. I can't imagine. I understand why he's not. He wants to do, he wants to be with his family type thing. Mm-hmm. However, a name that that I know that I haven't heard much information about, Jalen Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quarterback of Alabama.
Yep.
He accepted this invitation. Now, I haven't heard much about where he's going to get drafted, which makes me think he's a day 2 or day 3 guy, maybe.
Unless the NFL knows something y'all don't know.
So he's probably going to be like a late 2, early 3. But he has the widest range similar to yours, right? He has a really wide range of where he could be because in high-profile games he fell apart. Senior Bowl he fell apart, so he didn't have any good tape when it mattered. Against bad teams he looked great, and then in his pro day he was good. In the combine he looked good. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you should look good in those because you're not in pads and you're not against competition. I would hope you look pretty solid. But when it came to some of the higher profile games, he looked bad, right? It wasn't even like average. Like he looked bad. And so where he could fall on the draft board is such a wide range. And Ewer similarly because of his injury history, right? When you look at him when he's playing well, he could be really high. He could be a late first. But when you look at his injury, he could be a third rounder.
Yeah, I agree. But why would the NFL ask him to come to the combine if they didn't expect him to get called?
See, that's the thing. I heard last night that the Giants could take him as high as 34, which would be the second pick in the second round. Yeah. But if he's sitting there around 29, 30, the Giants may trade back into the first round to get him as number 31, 32 to get that fifth-year option.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you think you can mold him into something, absolutely.
I actually thought that would be a thing that would actually make the Eagles and the Giants trade partners in that regard, where they could. And I actually thought about that for a second, thinking that the Giants, because they are not atypical trade partners, obviously.
No.
But ultimately, you giving up a fourth-round pick along with your second-round pick, that's the third pick in day 2. Yep. And a fourth-round pick gives you the ability to get that fifth-year option. And ultimately, that actually makes sense for both teams because as of right now, the Eagles don't have a lot of picks. And I suspect that they are – like people keep thinking that they're going to move up in the draft because this is Howie Roseman. And I'm saying that this is not – Howie Roseman is smart. And Howie Roseman, I suspect, is not going to be going crazy to jump in and spend – the currency he's got because he kind of suspects that we're going to be able to go make another push for the Super Bowl again this year.
Who would you even be trying to move up to go get?
The safety from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alabama.
I mean, I kind of get that.
So, or the Georgia, one of the others. I think it's. I know that there's the one guy, but he's got to fall down to 22, 23. Into that range for us to even have a shot. Sure. Because ultimately you're trading this year's 32nd pick and a third round pick next year to move up the 9 spots, right? Yeah. That's what what I'm thinking you're doing. You know what I mean? So it's and a third round pick holds a lot of weight.
It does.
So
there's still a lot of talent in the third round.
So I feel like that's I don't know that that's up his alley. I guess if he falls that far, then I'd look for Howie to make a move.
Sure.
Short of that, I don't suspect that Howie is going to move. I think Howie's going to, like I said, it would make more sense to move out of that 32nd pick. This is right out of Belichick's playbook.
Yeah.
Move out of that 32nd pick, grab yourself an extra 4th round pick. The third pick of day 4 and the third pick of day 2. You know what I mean? Or day 3, I mean. Day 2 and day 3. If you get a second round pick and a 4th round pick for trading that first round pick, that makes sense to me. That makes sense. Get the third pick of each day.
Yeah.
I think that's ultimately why
I don't think it'd be unrealistic for that safety to fall down to 23 given this draft class. With defensive linemen, offensive linemen, I think there's going to be a lot. Obviously, wide receiver stuff for it. It would be. I don't think there'd be such a surprise if he fell down to run the mid to late 20s.
See, I think it is because I don't see the run on quarterbacks happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the first 2, right? It's going to be the first 2, and then from there, it's going to be, a couple of the receivers, tight end, and then it's going to be a lot of offensive, defensive line. So
I still think 3 quarterbacks.
That safety, because he's a top-rated safety, will probably be gone already.
I still think 3 quarterbacks go in the top 10.
Who do you think is the third quarterback?
I think Shedeur Sanders is going to end up in New Orleans because of the uncertainty with Derek Carr. If Derek Carr cannot play this year because of his shoulder, the Saints need a quarterback because they're not going with Spencer Rattler.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he were to fall all the way to the Saints, even if Derek Carr was playing, I think they would still draft him.
That's why I
So
think
who do
3
you
go in the
think is
top
the
10.
second one? You said 3 in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm about to say I was still who the third one
Right?
was.
Like, so who do you have going before Shedeur?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. No, 2 in the top 10. I think Jalen Milroe is the third. I do think Jalen Milroe goes in the first round because
you said
the Giants
3 in the
traded.
top 10.
Yeah,
And I'm
no,
like,
I
Yeah,
meant 3 in the first round. Yeah, I meant 3 in the first round.
who is this mystery quarterback that I
I-
haven't seen? in a while?
I think Jalen Milroe does go late first round, kind of similar to how Minnesota got Teddy Bridgewater, where Bridgewater was still sitting there at 31. Minnesota traded to go to 32 to get Bridgewater for that 5th-year option. I think the same thing happens with Milroe. With the Giants, it's a perfect fit because you have 2 rentals in Jameis Winston and Russell Wilson. You draft Milroe to get that 5th-year option, and you just put him behind both of those guys for 1 year. And then after this year's over, you figure out who you're going to keep basically to back up Milroe.
Yeah,
He froze.
He did freeze. He said, yeah, he froze.
I didn't know if I froze or he froze.
nah, it was me. No, that was me. But yeah, no, it's I could see Milroe in a situation like that, and honestly, that would be good for him anyway because then he could come in and sit for a year, which is something he's going to need.
And I think that's really why I think they invited him to the draft too, is because they think that he is going to go in the first round. That's why I think they invited him to the green room, because they think he is going to go to the first round.
I mean, I guess either that or they like having the drama of somebody who's not getting drafted.
So maybe it's
the
a ratings
NFL
move.
is that way, right? Like they do have that, low key pettiness.
I'm a dick mode. They do have the I'm a dick mode.
They do. They absolutely do.
So it's like, and I think that's more likely, and it's like and how do you feel about that? Like, how do you really want to be that guy? And it's like, I'm still sitting here in the third round. Am I going to get chosen or am I going to wait for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, where that suit looks like really tattered at that point.
Did you guys talk?
He's watching day 2 anyway.
Did you guys talk about? Did you guys talk about Travis Hunter's comments this morning?
That he'd rather quit.
That he'd rather quit
Yeah,
than.
yeah, that's what we opened up with.
Ooh, that's gonna make things interesting.
Not really. I don't think that's going to move the needle. Like somebody, like we said opening the show, like wherever he goes, they're going to have packages for him on both sides of the ball. So, I mean, he's not going to be a 140 snap a game guy, but he's going to have opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think he's not. He's definitely playing football. He just talking out of his ass.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. So speaking of other, dumb things from college kids. Nico gets forced out of Tennessee because he wanted to increase his NIL from 2.2 to 4 mil. Wanted to hold out of the playoffs last year to get this done. Does sit out of their spring game. And the coach was like, hey, you know what? We're good. Keep it pushing. He says that nobody's bigger than the program. And I like that. I mean, finally, we got a coach that took a stand. The Miami coach, he said, if you're on their program and you want to play holdout, you might as well play get out. And so a lot of these coaches are no longer interested in this hold my franchise hostage while you try and get more money. And I like it. We're finally starting to see some, accountability come into this. And then, of course, how Tennessee even heard about him trying to get money elsewhere is the
Dan Lanning.
Oregon coach. Yep. Dan Lanning gave him a call and like, hey, your guy's out here trying to get more money from us. And, that really just kind of pushed him over the edge to say, see ya. And now you have a lot of people that are not interested in touching him in the transfer portal. So
see, that's the whole thing that I think he failed to realize is not only are you not getting the money you were asking for from Tennessee, but Tennessee basically kicked you off the team because of the crap that you pulled.
Yep.
Now you're in the transfer portal trying to find a new team, but every single program knows what you just pulled at Tennessee.
Exactly.
There is not going to be one major college program that is going to touch him right now.
Not true. Not true. Here's where this will turn.
He's going to
now fire. You got to fire your agent and be like, hey, I was given bad advice. That's how I'd play it.
Yeah.
You start changing it over you got to change it all over to the agent now. The agent's the one that's going to get screwed in this because he's going to be like, hey, my agent needed a bigger payday. That's what he said. He said, we're going to get this money, blah, blah, blah. I was happy staying where I was. I didn't want to have to do this. You can say whatever you want to about over there that I was up there. I was playing the company line here because this is what I was prepped to do.
And ultimately, what's the best way to get NIL money? Play better, because he did not play that well last year.
He was also a redshirt freshman. See, this is where greed gets you. So greed gets you. $2 million wasn't enough. Needed $4 million. And guess what?
Well, it sounded like it. On the rumor end of it, it sounded like he had already kind of burned through the money, and he needed more money.
Yeah, he burned through it in like a month.
Them Lamborghinis are expensive.
That's exactly right.
Lamborghinis, houses, jewelry, clothing. I think they said he burned through 1.7 of the $2.5 million they gave him in one semester.
That's wild.
Oh, and that was all the money he was going to get.
Yeah, he was going to get 2.2.
Yeah,
a year, I thought.
Yeah, 2.2 for a year, but he burned through 1.7 of that 2.2 million in one semester of school.
That's insane. That is insane.
He maybe should have taken a finance class.
Right? Or at least had somebody influential in his life that knows.
Or ask for your NIL in installments and say, I will take a $400,000 or $500,000 installments every 3 months instead of giving it to him all up front.
Well, I mean, you may start to see some of that now too. Like that's where you're going to see, okay, we're going to give you some now, some when you start your first game, some when you start because ultimately now, I mean, this is a 1-year contract in general.
Mm-hmm.
So even, not for nothing. Out of the 2.1 million, I guess he blew through the 1.7 and the rest went to his agent.
Probably. How much did that agent pay?
Tells me. That's what that tells me, because the agent usually takes 20%. That's $400,000. Yeah, 1.7. All the money's gone. Now what? I'm going to need food stamps.
Yeah.
Can't even pay the insurance on the expensive cars at that point.
I didn't realize a $400,000 car is $40,000 a month of insurance. Oh,
that's
shoot!
Right.
I thought if I paid it in cash, I don't got to pay the insurance.
Yeah. What do they say in the in the replacements? You know how much it costs to insure 1.5, and they pull away.
Yep.
Oh yeah. People understand the pressure that comes with $54 million.
Yeah. Show me the Quan.
Yeah, so the NFL does generally have financial advisors on their staff. This is college kids that are just handed a boatload of cash with absolutely no experience and nobody really to this point that probably dealt with that much money. So
like this is like the equivalent of handing a high school freshman $100,000 check basically for graduating 8th grade without any knowledge of what finances are and be like, here you go. And then all of a sudden a month later, I need more money.
Yeah. At least if you're going to buy something, be able to sell it back.
Right.
To get the money.
I mean, I imagine you could sell it, but you're going to take a hit.
Oh yeah. That car's depreciating.
The car. I'm not. That's why you don't do a car. You're not buying a car.
Yeah.
You know, like, and if you are buying a car, you're buying a classic and you're putting it somewhere. Like,
Right.
this is where you buy that Pokemon card that sells for like $100,000. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you do with this type of stuff. I mean, I don't know. Like, listen, like it, obviously putting the money in crypto wouldn't be a good thing to do right now. But
I mean, it's
I
down
think
a
there
lot
are
right
ways.
now, so it probably actually work out. But and when I disagree with this, like the schools and video games and all of those things have made money on these kids, so I'm fine with them getting paid for some of that. But I mean, there needs to be some like guidelines of things. Like it can't be just the Wild West that it is now, right? Like they actually have to have a plan of how to make this work. But I have no problem with the kids making money. I mean, what EA Sports makes $1 billion a year on college kids. So I mean, I'm fine with them getting a piece of that.
I mean, what they realistically should do is if they're giving an athlete $2.1 million in NIL money, give them like a certain portion in cash, whether it's 500,000, 400,000, whatever you want to give them. Give them a certain portion of cash up front, save the other portion of cash you want to give them for later, and then the remaining put in like some sort of a fund that stays at the university until you actually need it, but you can't take it out until you actually need it. So that way, if you transfer, then you don't get that money that they stashed away. Then
Well, I mean, it should be. I mean, it's essentially pay to play anyway, so they might as well have actual contracts. So when they sit out of games and don't participate, it hurts their pocketbook. Make them actually live up to the contract they're signing.
And my thing is, this is why I feel like high school kids should be required. It should be required to take a finance class, so that when you do get to college and you are given that kind of a contract, you know how to deal with it, or you know how to handle your money.
It's not even.
The problem is, I mean, like, why are we taking history? History gonna help me do my with 2.2 million, but a finance class at least tells you, hey, look, this is how you can make that 2.2 go to 4 point or whatever. But we're not educating our kids in finances, so we give them a crap ton of money because that's what they deserve. The problem is we don't teach them how to deal with the crap ton of money.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree.
That's not even a requirement in college. Like,
I do.
Well, high school. Like, you don't have to take finance in college if you don't want to. So, I mean, it's why most people can't balance a checkbook. Now you add a bunch of zeros and some irresponsibility to it. It gets. Because
at least if I bought a $400,000 house, I could, at the very least, I could rent that thing out, and that's passive income because it's paid off. All I'm doing is paying property tax and operating. Because whoever I rent to, they're going to take up the bills. I mean, at least you got passive income coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't know. That's crazy. But I mean, it's just crazy. They deserve the money. They do. We just don't do a good enough job, as a country, as a society, teaching these kids on how to, like you said, manage their money.
I mean, they don't even try to.
No, they don't. They don't. They really, honestly don't. The only ones that know how to do it are good drug dealers. Drug dealers tell you how to manage that money all day long.
I mean, I guess that's one way to go, but
I've never met a drug dealer that didn't know how to do good math. I'm just saying, they know math. Might not know anything else, but they know math.
I mean, they know basic math anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, blowing the money's blowing the money.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you're right, Joe. I'm in that same boat. I have a hard time trying to figure out accounting math. Like, hey, I got $100. Let me spend the $100. That's easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I got $100 in the bank. Let me use my card. 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 What do you mean I got $300 over?
That's right. This thing's still swiping.
The problem is, too, even when it hits your bank account, it doesn't get taken out right away. That's where you get that pending, and then you get the number. And if you're not careful, you'll overdraft. Champ.
Yeah, I don't do that stuff anymore. But, yeah, like I said, that's why I like to try to still use cash when I can. But when you're away, it's like you don't want to carry cash around on you, so it makes things more difficult one way or another. But yeah, I mean, so Good for him. I bet you, like it says, I bet you the next thing that happens is he fires the agent, and does he have to give that money back?
So that's the thing that's funny is some of the contracts have been written in a way where they don't. So some of these kids have transferred and they've gotten to keep a bunch of that money, which is crazy to me. And obviously that's something that needs to get fixed. But
well, that's the thing with the NCAA when they came out with this whole NIL or all this stuff. There, like you said, I think we talked about this earlier. There was a good, clear structure in it. It was just a free for all.
There needs to be. That's
yeah.
This is hilarious. They should not give that money to those kids' parents because most of them also aren't good at money. So all they would do is burn through their kids' money. And, you have seen plenty of scenarios like that, especially with like child movie stars or child,
just ask Gary Coleman. He'll tell you. Well, he can't ask him no more. He's passed.
Singing careers and stuff. So, I mean, a lot of that has not worked out well because their parents also aren't good at it.
Just get a good CPA. You'll be all right.
I mean, that's what needs to happen. In fact, if you were one of those, NIL deals, that's probably where you're like, look, you are required as part of this to hire a financial advisor.
Oh, yeah. In all honesty, I mean, that would be the first thing on my mind is I need a financial advisor even before I get the money.
Yeah. I mean, you have to have finances to need a financial advisor, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. If I know I got NIL money, and they know I got NIL money, they're going to know.
I can figure out where to put those moths in my wallet. So.
Oh, man. But even financial advisors, man, I mean, you got to be careful with them too sometimes. I mean, you still need to know a little bit basic finances. So, do I want to go long-term, short-term, aggressive, whatever? I mean.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you have one that's not just robbing you. I mean,
yeah.
But that's true with any industry, right? I mean, you got to worry about that with your agent too. You got to make sure you're not signing a bad deal with an agent that's representing you where somehow they end up getting almost more money than you do because those contracts have been out there too. So, I mean, obviously you have to be somewhat self-aware and, actually read the contracts that are in front of you that, generally doesn't happen either. So they're like, oh, I just signed here. Don't worry about those 1,200 pages before it.
Yeah. And don't worry about the little fine print you can't read. It's just stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Big deal.
Man.
No, I think if I got a contract like that, that's the first thing I would just go to my lawyer and say, read this and tell me what the hell it is I'm signing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and again, these are all things that these kids should be doing, but they're young. They don't know anything. They look at the price tag of some of these things, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to lose any of this money to that ultimately probably would keep more money in their pocket." But and I can't say that I wouldn't have done anything different than these kids are at that age either. I did plenty of dumb stuff.
So the kid that we're talking about is this I Am Aliva kid, right?
Correct.
All right. So like UCLA is in the mix now. I'm just reading now. Like I'm trying to find anything newsworthy to talk about. Like, because there ain't nothing. I mean, the only thing that kind of happened yesterday was, hey, Harper's going to have a boy because he used a blue bat.
Yeah, the WNBA draft happened yesterday. But outside of the first round, it's a bunch of people you're not going to know, right? So,
well, outside of the first couple of picks, there was a whole bunch of people you didn't know.
Yeah,
and it's like, and you know what? I was surprised I didn't hear, because the first pick again this year was a white girl, was it not?
Paige
Yes.
Button.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was surprised that we didn't hear about that.
So they did. You did hear about that because one of the analysts, former WNBA player, she was just like, oh yeah, she plays okay, whatever, but she's gonna get drafted one because of her privilege, and so that soundbite does live out there. That is a real thing.
Wow.
And it's just like she was the best player, right? And wins the championship. I mean, but it's her privilege, not the fact that she's just really good
Where
at
did they come
basketball.
up with this stuff?
It's the narrative that continues to stay out there. Had I known
That's
we were going to go this
crazy.
route, I would have got that clip, because even when I heard it, I'm just like, what?
Like, did you really hear what you thought you heard?
Oh yeah, no. It's a real thing, and it's just like, man, she just happens to be really good at basketball. Like it's,
Yeah, and that just annoys me. But yeah, that's just life, I guess, in the fast lane here. This is what happens. This is where everybody is like, okay, yep, we could say whatever we want when we don't have to hold ourselves accountable for it. That's what it becomes. They don't have to. If I was to say, hey, she shouldn't be drafted, or the girl who, any girl of color that may have gotten drafted said, hey, she shouldn't have gotten drafted because she wasn't the best player, regardless of color.
oh, you'd get barbecued.
Fried like bacon.
Yes. Well, I mean, realistically, that's really been the theme of this entire show. Is there is a lack of accountability in sports, right? Whether it's broadcasting, whether it's with the people themselves, there's just the accountability isn't there.
So where does that line get drawn in the sand anymore? Like, at what point does that become since it's becoming more the norm?
Yeah.
Because truth of the matter is that anybody could say anything about anything they want.
Sure.
And it be okay.
Well, isn't that what we've been talking about for a while now, though, Pags? I mean, look, you can take this all the way back to Ja, anybody in the NFL. They're all over the place. I mean, it's all over the place. But I've said this before. It's a sign of the time. Look, it's not. We don't live in the same days that we grew up in, where accountability was something. Hell, I even look at in the military, for crying out loud. And it's in the freaking military. Y'all want to see soldiers walk around and their uniform looks all fucked up, and no senior NCO is saying a damn thing to them. This is just the times that we live in, man. I mean, accountability in our fucking country is gone. It's fucking gone. I see it in the educational system. Even accountability in the educational system is gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's been gone.
It's hard. It is so hard today.
But yeah, I mean, and it's one thing had it been on, a podcast, a platform like ours, whatever. This was national TV.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just like, man, you can't just celebrate a number one pick, or at that time.
And I'm surprised because ultimately, again, I suspect that most of the people that are watching this are, I guess they're women. So I want to say probably 70% of the people that were watching were women. And I'd be willing to bet that even probably a good 60 to 70% of those people were probably of the same color of the girl getting drafted. And, and again, don't say anything because of what it is they don't want to, because they don't want to be the one that gets fried on the opposite side.
Right.
Because what they say matters and what I say doesn't. Because they could say that I'm racist and they are right because I'm wrong. That's it.
And let's be honest, it's like the first person, right? Caitlin Clark got all kinds of hell. I mean, is it really anything different now that Paige is getting it? I mean, you saw it with her. It just transcends to the next one. And God forbid if another white girl got number one, I'm sure it would pass on down.
So I disagree with that.
Okay.
So Caitlin Clark didn't. Reese did. Reese got a lot. But
Caitlin Clark didn't get no backlash?
No. For being the number one pick?
No, I meant just in general.
No. Nobody disputed that she was going to be the number one pick. Like, she set all the NCAA records. Nobody was trying to say she shouldn't be the number one pick.
There were some. I remember that. I remember absolutely There were
Unless
some.
unless I heard wrong, but
No, I remember specifically
I
there
didn't
were
remember
people
seeing
saying
anybody saying
that
she
that
shouldn't
they wouldn't pick her first. There were some prominent girls,
Hmm.
prominent, saying that. So I wouldn't pick her
So-
first because
So
blah, blah,
I knew that there were players saying that, but I didn't see any of the like TV.
I wouldn't know the difference because, like I said, I didn't pay attention like that.
I got
I just, whether the players are saying it or whether they're analysts saying it, they were all the same to me.
I got you. Yeah, because I mean, I know that some players were saying it, and some of that had to do with the fact that she was getting so much hype. But when it came to the media, like they were pretty much all on board with the fact that she was gonna be the number one pick. But and yeah, Chris, Dan Hasselbeck.
Always Chris with the good news.
I know, right?
Chris has always got to make sure that we bring up bad news. I have to look up who Dan Hasselbeck even is.
Yeah.
What did he play Knight Rider?
No,
Oh no.
That's Hasselhoff.
Hasselhoff. No, it's Matt Hasselbeck's dad.
Yeah,
No, I
exactly.
didn't know it was.
Exactly. I wear Matt Hasselbeck's jersey when he was an Eagle. They took his name off. They put my name on there, and you're asking me to say, "Oh, let's mention it." What are we mentioning it for? What's the purpose of that, Chris? I don't even know who he is.
Hey, for those who don't know, Coast to Coast is very sensitive to the passings of people, and we say rest in peace, Dan.
Yeah,
He's such a jerk.
I know. I'm the bad guy today.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick though. So Lillard has a blood clot. He's going to miss the first round for the Bucks. You got to imagine now. I mean, where do the Bucks even go at this point, right? I mean, I don't think they have enough to get through that first round without Lillard being there.
Who's their coach?
Doc Rivers.
Okay. Yeah, there
you go.
But they're not going to get swept.
No, they'll probably be up 3-1 in the series and lose.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this. This is something I saw on First Take. They were talking about Giannis. If they get kicked out of the first round of the playoffs, at what point does Giannis starting to look maybe to leave Milwaukee and go someplace different? And if so, I've also saw where they were talking about maybe possibly Miami being a good place for him to start over in. But Miami are they going to move on from Pat Riley? I mean, there was a whole thing.
I tried to push I would trade 1-for-1 Embiid for Giannis. I was trying to push this a year ago, was I not? I said I would trade 1-for-1
anywhere you could.
Guess what? I would have looked like a damn genius had I done that.
Yeah.
A genius.
Because what would a guy like Giannis, who actually really cares about the game of basketball, do for the city of Philadelphia?
Not much, unfortunately. No, he would and he wouldn't. He's got a little bit of the attitude. The problem is I don't think he's like a Philly style guy. You not only have to have the attitude, but you can't have the chip on your shoulder in the wrong way, like for the fans. You can't have a chip on your shoulder for the fans. And it would be like the first couple times he gets booed that he would start to get that chip. And I can't see Giannis being that guy here. And it's a shame because I'm a firm believer that, again, if you come here, you play your balls off and you win a championship, you get a statue made for you. That's what happens in Philly. We honor our champions with statues.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we play here. So there would be something about that if he was to be able to come here and, just go to work and lead the team to a championship. The problem is that the Sixers as an organization are too worried about what the Commanders are about to do right now because that's the new shiny toy that ownership owns. They don't really care about what's going on with the Sixers. They don't care. That's why I don't want anybody to go to any of those games. Don't go to any of those games. They tried to hold the city hostage. They tried to move the stadium. They tried to, they've been playing these games oh, we're not going to play this guy. We're not going to play this guy. Where he's got, oh, I got to do something with the knee. We got to do something with the knee. We got to do something with the knee. And then he's doing handstands at practices. You know what I mean? Like, come on. You know what I mean?
And don't worry about it.
It's all a big game, and they aren't playing.
Yep.
And I ain't interested. Get out of my city. If you don't want to be here, I don't want you here, including ownership. And that's what I feel about it. You own the Devils. You own the Commanders. Go play on those teams. I want a winner here. And unless you're going to provide me with one and show me that you actually care about this team, then I'm not going to put you any effort, because I can put more effort into making sure that you sell the team. Hey, listen, now that the Celtics have been sold, hey, listen, hey, Jeff Lurie, buy the Sixers, please, please, please.
And y'all just brought back Morey and Nick Nurse. What a time to be alive.
Well, Nick was under contract. It's not even a big deal.
I just didn't really like Daryl Morey when he was a general manager of the Rockets, and I just don't like him. I'm not a big Morey fan. I am not. Popcorn, yellow strap, smile.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of the Harris group. They haven't shown me much, and I feel like since all of the Philly aspects have been removed from ownership, there is no Philly in this. You know, like it's like, okay, when Fanatics was part of it, and you know, like okay, at least you had a Philly flair to that, and then you had Will Smith, who was a little bit involved, and he kind of is a little bit, but he ain't ever in Philly. He ain't ever doing anything with us. You know what I mean? He ain't coming here and putting a stamp on this team saying, hey, I want, you know, like show up. I'd say I am unhappy with the way this team played, but you ain't seeing nothing from ownership. They doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
Somebody pissed on my chair today, I guess.
I'm still pissed off about Tucker getting traded.
Yeah, I was just reading about something like that in baseball. They were like something about Tucker. I don't know what was going on with that, but it was somebody else talking about
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah. Arenado thrown off by Astros trading Tucker. What does that mean?
No, I don't know, but the Cubs and Kyle Tucker are already exchanging extension talks and extension figures.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to let Tucker go. Only our asses are dumb enough to let him go.
It's not about letting him go. It's about the owner doesn't like to spend money.
Oh,
he doesn't have to spend money, and he knew that when he brought in Tucker.
Here was the reason.
The owner's never written out a contract more than $180 million.
Well, he's about to get ready to.
I doubt it.
Well, I don't think Tucker's going to sign.
Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado confirmed one of the reasons he used his no-trade clause to block a move to the Astros was because the club dealt all-star outfielder Kyle Tucker. He's one of the best. Tucker's one of the best players in the game. When you see a team trade him, 99 out of 100 players would probably be wondering, what does that mean? What's the question I ask myself? And would I want to go there after you just traded one of the best outfielders that you had on your team? So he blocked the trade.
Yeah.
I'm not going to Houston. Screw Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
agree with that sentiment.
I mostly agree with it, but at the same time, you also have to look at it from Kyle Tucker's entering his free agent year anyways. Was Houston
I was looking at it from a Mariners fan.
Yeah, well, in terms of like Arenado, I can understand it because if he's going to go to a team like that, he wants like the best roster to be assembled. But at the same time, he also has to look at it and consider Kyle Tucker's entering his final year until he hits free agency. Regardless if I get traded there or not, there is a chance that he's not going to be back in Houston anyway. So what's the difference if I go there now when he's not there, or if I go there now and I have him for 1 year and then he's not there the final 2 years of my deal?
I mean, that's just sports. Like,
yeah. But like when players say that, like I kind of don't agree with what he said, where he's like, "Oh, if 99% or 99% of players would block this trade if they found that out," I'd be like, probably not, because it's part of the business. Like, you know that if your team is entering a rebuild or a retool, that you're going to start getting rid of some of your higher paid players or players that are about to get paid a lot of money. There's a reason why the Cardinals tried to trade Nolan Arenado. There's a reason why the Cardinals got rid of Paul Goldschmidt. They're entering a rebuild right now, and they're trying to get rid of their big contracts.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the business side of it.
And then, of course, this is going to be, it's all going to turn in a little bit anyways when they go on strike.
True. Yep. Then they're all rebuilding.
Then they're all rebuilding because they got to pay everybody they paid up until that point. And they got to keep paying them.
That's right.
Perfect.
Well, that gets us to the top of the hour. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us this morning. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our content to you. And of course, if you are on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, we will see you all tomorrow. And we got the special note from our Philly sports guy.
What's up, everybody? Philly Sports Guy here, and I'm here looking for creators, influencers, and business who are looking to turn their influence into impact. Join us on May 17th at Rex Studios Philly for the first annual Philly Influencer Symposium. This is the ultimate networking event for all influencers, creators, and businesses who are all doing big things in and around the city. It's all going down with your host, me, the Philly Sports Guy, and a powerhouse lineup of speakers, panels, and networking that's going to leave you leveled up and fired up. Whether you're repping your brand, building your business, or just want to connect, this is where Philly's most powerful voices come together. So I look to see you there on May 17th at Rex Studios Philly for the Philly Influencers Symposium. Get your tickets before they're gone. Let's go, Philly! Yeah!
Introducing National Streaming Sports, live and on-demand sports talk programming that you can access 24/7. For the premier sports talk experience, tap into our Roku channel. Start your mornings with Mac and Jack covering all the weekend sports action. Then pour a cup and enjoy all the sports you can drink on the Coffee and Sports podcast. At midday, talk sports from east to west on the Coast to Coast podcast. Followed at night by some hot girl talk with Prim and Proper Sports featuring Sonia Pearson. Talk boxing on the Gloved Fist. Yankee fans tune in for Start Spreading the News. And there's more on the College Sports Huddle and Sports Scope with Robert Butler. There are 20 podcasts in all and 70 weekly shows giving us a 3.4-star viewer rating. To find us on Roku TV, search for National Streaming Sports on the Roku search bar. Click on the logo and you're in. National Streaming Sports, live